for supporting the Fable and Folly Network. Here's another show we know you'll love.
Where am I? Welcome to Desert Skies, traveler. Your journey through the physical plane has come to an end. I am the attendant. My colleague here is the mechanic.
Yo.
This is your last stop on your way to the great beyond. It's our job to make sure you're prepared for the ride. Now, before hitting the road, we have an impressive selection of over 34 varieties of microwavable burritos. What's going on?
There's gotta be a better afterlife than this. I mean, come on!
That's offensive.
Something seems to be wrong with me.
You left something major undone.
I have a life outside of this gas station, you know.
You quite literally do not.
Any hobbies?
Nope.
Ever travel?
Nope.
Love interest?
Are you kidding? Oh my god. You're like the human version of a plain bagel.
Cash register.
How can I help you, attendant?
Play some music?
You got it.
It's kind of funny, though. What I needed wasn't back there. It was here, waiting for me.
I wonder what it feels like, Mac, to miss the physical plane, the people you left behind.
You know, I had a wife who died 3 years ago.
Wish I could go back.
No, you don't need to go back. You just need to be here.
And a new traveler approaches. Ready, team?
Ready.
Attendant.
Good. Let's do this.
Find Desert Skies wherever you listen to podcasts.
Looking to get out of the ads and back to the story? Fable and Folly Plus is a new way to support the creators you love. The podcast you're listening to right now and more than 60 others can be heard ad-free for as little as $4 a month by visiting fableandfolly.com/plus. And now, you'll start to see Fable and Folly Network shows are offering bonus content to all existing and new supporters. Find exclusive new episodes from shows like Where the Stars Fell, the Call of Cthulhu Mystery Program, and Civilized. Plus, early access to new episodes of Midnight Burger, all still entirely ad-free.
In this world, there are more stories than pumpkins on Halloween. Some are carved, some are lumpy, some get smashed by vandals. But they're all worth putting a candle inside. So open your pumpkin's mouth wide and listen. Welcome to BRUSHTOWN Stories, Episode 4, A Game of Cat and Clown, Part 1. Agent Samara Javadi had been assigned to the Clown Division of the Bureau for 5 months. Since clowning was made illegal by the Defense Against Clown Act, the funnymen were a constant target. Some clowning groups went underground. Some of the more artsy types crossed into Canada and set up expat tumbling clubs. They helped others get across the border. They called it the Underclown Clown Road, which was clunky and borderline offensive. But clowns love being offensive. At least that's how Agent Javadi saw it. It was late, and she was reading over some files on a clown cell active near Little Crimea town. That neighborhood used to be rough, but in the past couple years, gentrification had taken over. An odd place for a bunch of rogue clowns. Unless... She got to her feet and headed down to the archives floor. Mitch was behind the desk. "I need you to pull a file," she said. Mitch groaned. He complained that it was after hours. Samara said if they'd just digitized them, she'd do it herself. Mitch pushed the glasses up his nose. "Please, you think they'd pay for that? Besides, you can't hack paper." "I bet the Bazamians could," she replied. "That's the CIA's problem. So what do you want?" "Gigglepuss." Mitch let out a defeated sigh. "This again?" Dr. Gigglepuss is the highest profile clown doctor still at large. She has a small fortune and she's been funneling it through all sorts of fronts. "She's probably dead," Mitch countered. "Gigglepuss is your white whale, but you know what happened to Ahab in the end, don't you?" "I prefer Hafez to Melville." Samara leaned on the desk. She smiled. "Come on, Mitch. Be a pal. Do your job." Mitch grumbled and went to the back room. But he had a point. She'd been after Gigglepuss for a while. Samara believed she almost had the good doctor cornered near the Great Falls, but Gigglepuss managed to slip through the cracks. Some at the Bureau thought Gigglepuss wasn't even alive and that a group used the name interchangeably. Some argued that she was made up out of whole cloth to scare kids like the Werebear or Hoagie Hogan the submarine killer. But she knew better. Dr. Gigglepuss was real. The very idea that they used to let clowns be doctors and dance and cheer up children sent a shiver down her spine. The naivety of a simple age. Luckily, those red-nosed horn honkers were being hunted down. Mitch returned with the file.
How many times have you read this, Samara? What do you expect to find?
She wasn't sure herself, but she had a hunch. Little Crimea Town was the key. Somehow, Gigglepuss had found herself a safe house there. She took the file to her desk. She'd read it all before, but she decided to reread the bio again, just in case. Dr. Ha-Ha Hester Gigglepuss was born Hester Greenblatt and got her degree from Johns Hopkins and seemed to be on track to be just a normal doctor until something happened. All of a sudden, she spent all her time visiting the Bamboo Family Circus, which had set up a tent behind the Costco in Silver Springs. She met funny folk who indoctrinated her into the world of clowning. From there, she worked at St. Jude's, probably to start turning kids toward buffoonery. They're so susceptible at that age. And was eventually let go when the first anti-clown protest began. She was arrested while protesting outside Blackgate Prison on the night Clowny Brown was executed. Takes a real messed up head to support that guy, Samara thought. Gigglepuss then went underground. She was believed to have joined the Painted Panthers Party and the Marceau Liberation Army. The MLA robbed a bank in Perth Amboy and set fire to the Funko rubber chicken factory. Huh, Samara thought. Why would clowns firebomb a rubber chicken factory? She never considered it before. Strange. But the biggest moment for the MLA was when they tried to assassinate Senator McMenamin with an improvised explosive. She looked over the blast photos. Shrapnel and whipped cream tore up his office. Luckily, he wasn't in his office when the bomb went off. She noticed something in the photos. She ran back down to the archives floor. Mitch saw her coming and put down his crossword puzzle.
What now?
He moaned. Where's the evidence from the McMenamin bombing?
The pie scraps?
Mitch grimaced.
Come on, Sam, you're driving me crazy.
Tell me and I'll buy you the Stubby's breakfast sub of your choice. Mitch considered it.
Even the Clubfoot Sunshine Sub?
I'll even double the cheese, and you know it's extra, Samara replied. Mitch searched the database.
It's down in the museum on level 1.
The secret museum? Damn, it's closed.
Yeah, but I have the key,
Mitch said. Few people know that the FBI has a secret museum, or that it also has a gift shop, but since everything is classified, the gift shop only prints receipts in code. Keeps the visitors' names a secret, but it makes returns and exchanges damn near impossible. Samara learned that firsthand one bitter post-Christmas day. But the gift shop was not Samara or Mitch's concern that night as they walked through the darkened museum. It was a treasure trove of FBI artifacts. Dillinger's mustache, the Unabomber's manifesto, the hat worn by the pumpkin that wouldn't die. But eventually they came to a small case with delicately arranged shrapnel. Mitch found the light switch for the case and flicked it on. Samara scanned the pieces. She tapped on the glass. Right there, she said. She pointed to an odd bit of yellow plastic-looking debris. It had little bumps on it. Mitch gave it a look.
So?
That there, Mitch, is a piece of rubber chicken. The rubber chicken factory fire was a cover. They were working out of it. A secret burned-out base, and it was in use for who knows how long. But that burned blight didn't last long in the new and upcoming neighborhood. Recently, that same factory had been turned into the Funko Promenade, an upscale shopping gallery right in the heart of Little Crimea Town. In fact, it was the centerpiece of the town council's revitalization project. Perhaps, Samara thought, Dr. Gigglepuss was still using some part of the old factory. A cruel worm in the warm heart of consummate consumerist America. Those fright-wigged fiends.
The Fable and Folly Network supports creators of exceptional audio stories, including the one you're listening to right now. If you love our shows, we want to hear from you. Complete our listener survey at fableandfolly.com/survey. This will help us learn more about you, what you like, what you'd like to hear more of, and how we can maintain an inclusive, safe atmosphere. As a thank you for your participation, we have extras and behind-the-scenes content from your favorite shows. Fans make the network what it is. Thanks for listening, and we can't wait to hear from you. Find our listener survey at fableandfolly.com/survey today. Looking to get out of the ads and back to the story? Fable and Folly Plus is a new way to support the creators you love. The podcast you're listening to right now and more than 60 others can be heard ad-free for as little as $4 a month by visiting fableandfolly.com/plus. And now, Fall of the House of Sunshine is offering episode commentary to Fable and Folly Plus supporters, still entirely ad-free. Fable and Folly Plus. Sign up today at fableandfolly.com/plus.
The next day, Samara went down to the Funko promenade and met with the general manager of the space. The manager's heels clicked on the concrete floor as she gave Samara a tour. As you can see, we kept as much of the shell of the factory as possible. It gives it a nice industrial vibe. Here was the head processing center. Now it's a gourmet cheese shop. Over here is the design studio for Betsy Glow. Samara kept her eyes on the corners and walls as the tour continued. They ended the tour at the luxury Christian tea shop, Stigmacha. "What about the basement?" Samara asked. "There's no basement. It's solid cement all the way down," the manager replied. Samara narrowed her eyes. She'd seen the blueprints, but she decided to play it cool for the moment. "You know, I want to thank you for touring me around and buy you a coffee." The general manager demurred, but Samara insisted. And finally the manager relented and sat at a small table at the Thermos and Pie coffee shop, which was built in the old rubberizing furnace. Samara ordered 2 coffees and then a small whipped cream pie. She put the coffees down and then placed the small pie on the table. The general manager looked at the pie, and then up at Samara. "You like pie?" Samara asked. I guess," the manager replied. "Why don't you pick it up? It's quite light," Samara said, pushing the pie toward the general manager. The general manager took a sharp intake of breath. Sweat started to form on her brow. "I'm good." They stared at each other, the little pie between them. "Go on. Give it a touch. Don't you just want to throw it?" "What? Why would I want to?" "I don't know," Samara said. "I've known certain types to have an uncontrollable urge to toss a pie." "I'm not me," the manager stammered. "What if I said I was a wealthy, uptight dowager?" "Oh, I never. This is all simply too much. Why are you doing this?" the manager said. She was now holding the pie in her hand trembling. "Because I hate clowns." It's not, the manager trailed off. She started to giggle as a large smile took over her face. "You're gonna have to come with me. I'm going..." Samara was cut off by the pie splatting in her face. The manager let out a goofy laugh and ran off. I should have seen that coming. Samara wiped the cream off her face, hopped to her feet, and drew her weapon. Funny business is over. With that, she took off after the general manager.
BRUSHTOWN Stories is a Roy Gold production. It was written by Jonathan Goldberg with music by David Riglieri. Samara Javadi is me, Melissa Lusk. Find out more about the show and cast at podmusical.com. Find out more about moles underground in their holes. Be sure to call ahead. Moles are like people in that way. They want to know when company's coming over. They're also like people in the way they use forks, but then that's it. Moles are weird, man. Thanks for listening, and have a suntabulous bicuspid of a day.
The Fable and Folly Network, where fiction producers flourish.